My name is Allison Black. I'm a staff veterinarian at the Dumb Friends League currently. Um, Prior to that, I was at a municipal shelter in Central Texas for a few years. Um, I'm highly concerned about Proposition 29 as well, if it were to pass. My concern is deeply personal because I know who has pushed this proposition onto the ballot, my own employer, the Dumb Friends League. I don't come forward lightly, but I cannot stand by and let Colorado voters be misled by this irresponsible ballot measure. The Dumb Friends League leadership has been advocating for this position for years, with no success working with the state's elected officials in the legislature. They have now forced the VPA concept onto the ballot for Colorado's 2024 general election in the form of Prop 129, ignoring the concerns of veterinary professionals who work directly with animals. Many people question how 200,000 signatures were obtained from the public in order to get this measure on the ballot. I believe a large amount of these signatures were acquired by pleading to DFL patrons and supporters using emotionally misleading advertising stating that animals are suffering. It is also disheartening to the organization that I believed in. An animal welfare organization has spent over $1 million to push this measure forward, utilizing resources that should instead have been used to provide quality care to our animal patients. Since joining DFL 3 years ago, I've been involved in multiple conversations about this proposal. From the beginning, staff veterinarians, including myself, were asked to provide our professional input, but it is clear our serious concerns were never truly heard. Initial meetings were open to feedback, yet when objections and questions were raised, they were quickly rejected and the discussions went nowhere. Subsequent meetings yielded no progress either. Nonetheless, without regard to our concerns and staunch opposition, DFL pushed ahead with this proposal, conveying a clear message. This is happening, so get on board. It is not just the creation of this position that alarms me. It's the complete disregard for the risks this proposition poses if passed. As somebody who performs surgical procedures on animal patients and has undergone years of training and education to do so, as Dr. Bolzer said, no, I know what is at stake. No surgery is zero risk. Under the current ambiguous language of Prop 129, VPAs would be performing surgeries they aren't properly trained for. That's a gamble we cannot afford to take with Colorado's pets. A common argument in favor of this position is the comparison to a PA position or physician assistant position in human healthcare, but this is not an equivalent comparison. In fact, PAs are not legally allowed to perform independent surgeries, as the human healthcare field acknowledges that surgery should be performed by qualified doctors with appropriate training. PAs assist doctors in surgery just as current registered vet techs are trained to assist veterinarians in surgery. I hope that by coming forward and pulling back the curtain on this dangerous measure and the proponents behind it, voters will see Proposition 129 for what it truly is, a threat to quality veterinary care for pets and animals in Colorado. I urge my fellow veterinarians who have been intimidated into silence to join me in speaking out. The lives of the animals we care and all Colorado animals depend on it. I think one of the most common arguments I see on social media is that veterinarians are greedy and that we are not in favor of this because it will affect our bottom line at the end of the day. And that is not true. I feel like as a whole, we're generally good, wholesome people. But saying that we're worried about competition and our salaries decreasing is just wholly untrue. We're worried about your pets, and that's the bottom line. I'll tell you what, I have been speaking out about this since the very beginning. I have been the most vocal um, veterinarian or anybody at the Dumb Friends League for the past 2 years against this. I've shown up to every meeting organized to get together to discuss this with our CEO, hoping that at the ground level, I would be able to make a difference from the beginning. But like I said earlier, it didn't really matter. I have been working with organizations to combat it from the sides and stuff, but kind of just feeling a little bit not able to express myself in the beginning, um, that my opinion maybe doesn't matter as much, or like I said, this is happening anyway. But I've been doing what I can, at the risk of some retaliation or lack of a better word, while trying to stay safe in my current position. So yeah, I've been doing what I can with the position that I have.